former psychology professor Jordan Peterson and opinion columnist for the New York Times, Pamela. Okay, so...
I mean, you know what? When was this? November 11th, 2023. Overtime. Senator Ted Cruz, Jordan Peterson, Pamela Paul, Real Time with Bill Maher. Real Time with Bill Maher. He's irrepressible, opinionated, and of course politically incorrect. Watch new episodes of Real Time with Bill Maher starting Friday, January 9, 2021 on HBO and Max. Subscribe to the Real Time... Yes, there he is. Real Time blog, HBO shop, get Max. Yeah. Joined January 18th, 2026, it says. Okay. Alright, where did you go? Okay, here it is. Alright, so this ought to be really good. Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Here we go. This first one is for you. Do Republicans have a good answer to address the border crisis other than busing migrants to liberal cities? Ooh, a little dig there, Ted. A little...
It's actually very simple, which is secure the border, and when you apprehend someone, send them home. When Joe Biden started, we had the lowest rate of illegal immigration in 45 years. And
that's not correct. And why doesn't he just say, why doesn't he support closing the border? I mean, why doesn't he just support closing the border? I mean, why is it? It's not a joke here. This is not funny. He's saying what he believes.
Came in and he immediately reimposed catch and release, and it produced the worst rate of illegal immigration in our...
No. Gosh, no. Governor Abbott, just let these people come in, for God's sakes.
Nation's history. I spent a lot of time at the border. I go out on midnight patrol with Border Patrol agents.
Really?
Many times. You should come. I'll actually bring you if you're interested in... If you want to see...
No.
I will tell you this, actually, Bill. If you saw what was happening, you would be horrified, because the people being abused by the traffickers, you don't understand it till you see it firsthand, and it is immoral what's happening at our southern border.
No, how about the people that make it all the way to New York, other places in Texas that's just absolutely overrun with sex trafficking and prostitution, abuse, everything. Violence. What's he talking about?
Take your word.
Okay.
I don't have to go.
But it is easy to fix, because what actually worked is we had an agreement with Mexico that was called the Remain in Mexico Agreement, which says that if someone crossed into Mexico illegally from typically Central or South America, they would remain in Mexico while their asylum case was proceeding.
No, that never worked either. You know, he just doesn't give two shits. He only cares about his agenda. He doesn't care about the United States or Texas.
In the U.S., and the numbers plummeted. We had the lowest rate, as I said, in 45 years.
False.
And then Biden came in and ripped that international agreement to shreds. And that's what produced now 8.4 million illegal aliens since Biden's been president.
Boy, I walked right into that one, didn't I? I know you know this. This is part of your... But, all right, let me ask it a different way. Do you think if we attacked it from the reverse angle, in other words, if we punish the employers...
Absolutely.
It would, and you think we should?
Oh, look, I am all for E-Verify. I would absolutely punish the employers, and I've introduced legislation to do...
Oh, E-Verify? Come on. How about the people that are running prostitution rings, Ted? How about that?
That multiple times.
And what happened? Your party must not like that, because we know cheap labor is good.
So, look, there are a lot of Republicans who don't like that. They're fewer, but I do think that the Republican Party is changing. I think we're becoming much more of a blue-collar party, which I think is a very good thing.
Okay. This is...
What the heck does that mean?
They are switching, aren't they? Yes, it's interesting. The parties are kind of switching, like who the elitists are. It used to be the country club Republicans, and now it's the Chardonnay sipping Democrat.
Yeah.
I know you've written about it. It's an interesting do-si-do the parties do.
It's almost happened completely in Canada now. The Conservatives are basically the working class party in Canada.
Right.
Yeah. Look, the heart of the Republican Party are truck drivers and steel workers and cops and firefighters. And I think that is a fantastic shift. I think we should be the party of jobs. we should be the party of people who want to work hard.
Okay. For Jordan, are men more susceptible to loneliness than women?
No. Well, we know this. So at puberty, women become more sensitive to negative emotion than men, and then that's permanent on average.
Here's Mr. Make It Up, you know? Gosh, he has probably one of the highest followings there is on YouTube. I mean, really, he does. He's made millions and millions and millions of dollars with this pseudo-psychology. It's just propaganda.
Through the entire life course. And it looks like it's associated with hormonal changes. And so cross-culturally, women experience higher levels of depression and anxiety and shame and guilt, all the negative emotions that clump together. And so loneliness is a pain-related
That's misogynistic.
emotion, and women are more susceptible to that.
What do you now? Everybody recognizes that women, girls, mature faster than boys. I mean, this is why they're going out with the upperclassmen. And at any age, they usually don't want somebody exactly their age. You know, even though this country is like crazy for age appropriate, God forbid we go out of that. But what do you think if you had to name?
What did that mean? Gosh, you know what?
A number. Pick of like how far ahead the women are years-wise.
Well, we know women prefer men 4 years older cross-culturally.
4?
Yeah.
But
Like, what study is that based on, Jordan?
It's not necessarily only a matter of maturation. It's also the case that women are more attracted by socioeconomic status and productivity than men are in relationship to
how
women.
many years head start does a man need to match his maturity level to a woman's level? I think 40.
Well, there's wide individual differences in that too, Joe.
Learning a lot about women here.
Am I wrong about that?
Well, I'm,
Okay.
yeah. I would say I have a different view of women from Jordan.
What do you mean, different?
Well, I mean, the depression, anxiety, what else do we have that's loneliness, everything negative.
No, not everything negative.
I mean, here she is from the New York Times. You know what? Yeah, they don't present a multitude of opinions. They go one direction.
Okay.
Because men are much more likely to be aggressive and to end up in prison and to be alcoholic, and they're overrepresented in learning disabilities. Like there are sex differences in psychopathology, and they're not all.
Psychopathology, listen to that. Boy, what a troublemaker.
Tilted negatively towards women, definitely not. So, but negative emotion, it's absolutely clear that that's the case, and it's the biggest differences are in the countries that have the most gender equal economies and socioeconomic structures. So the differences between men and women in terms of sensitivity to negative emotion maximize in Scandinavia.
Wow.
So,
Scandinavians are also much happier than we are, though.
yeah,
Well-
but comparatively, their women are less happy. So,
I mean, I know, I've seen those surveys too. I find it a very difficult thing to quantify happiness. Or it's kind of like that pain chart in the hospital, 1 to 10. Like somebody's 3 is somebody else's 8. You know what I mean? How happy are they really in Scandinavia? I don't know.
well, it's
I know this is the greatest country in the world, right, Ted?
Amen. Hallelujah.
All right.
I'm not going to get that one wrong.
How will Joe Manchin's decision, this happened today, Joe Manchin, West Virginia Senator, decision not to seek re-election impact the balance of power in the Senate? I saw a lot of gleeful Democrats. We got rid of Joe Manchin. Good luck trying to elect another Democrat in West Virginia. John Fetterman will win Dancing with the Stars before.
Yeah. I mean, he succeeded Robert Byrd.
But I guess he's making noise about a third party run.
I think that he is one of the several Democrats now who have decided that something has to be done, to offer an alternative to Biden. I mean, unfortunately, Jill Stein has also jumped into the race, and that worked out really well last time. So, but I think that the balance of power in the Senate is the bigger threat.
What do you think
honestly,
about Joe Manchin? You must have worked with
Look,
him
I
for
like
years.
Joe personally. He's a very affable guy.
But he's so much more conservative than most Democrats. So is there
his
a
not
place
running means Republicans will win that seat. And in fact, I would be willing to bet the Democrats
No,
won't
but could
even
you
contest
vote for a guy like Joe Manchin?
No.
Never? Really? He's not conservative enough for you?
Because I served with him, and actually he votes on 90% of the times for things that are terrible. So, for example, I watched the panel discussion you had. You were talking about Iran and Hamas, and I said at the end of our interview that I thought Biden had direct responsibility for this attack. And you said why. Let me give you one reason why. Joe Biden is responsible for $100 billion going to the Ayatollah. He made a decision to do that. And Iran funds Hamas. The Wall Street Journal reported in September they brought Hamas terrorists to Iran and trained them in Iran to carry out the attack. And I start from a really simple
Yeah, I don't think there's any evidence to demonstrate that. And so there we go back to the Wall Street Journal.
principle. Don't give money to terrorists who want to kill us. And that, unfortunately, the Democrat Party's on the other side of that.
You went to Harvard, as you point out, Paul.
Listen, Cornell, man, you're not exactly a man of the people.
Right. I try not to mention it, though. But you know it's more complicated than that.
No, I actually don't think it is.
Okay.
When the Ayatollah chants death to America and death to Israel, I believe him.
But what's the complicated part is what I was saying. The people of Iran is different than the regime.
But he didn't give the money to the people. He gave the money to the Ayatollah. The person he's giving it to is the one who has pledged he wants to murder as many Jews and as many Americans as possible. And giving him, Obama gave him $100 billion, Biden gave him $100 billion, and that was catastrophically foolish.
All right, I'm against that. All right, you created an...
We've got agreement.
No, I mean, I'm against killing Americans. And I don't care who knows it. All right. In less than 1 minute, because we're on CNN, Jordan, you created an app that teaches people how to write. Is that an effective way to teach them to be critical thinkers?
Yes.
Yes.
The most profound way of learning to think is to learn to write and edit in particular. Because that's how you get rid of this.
An app to teach you to write? Oh, really? Well, what kind of information does that record on people's personal lives?
Stupid ideas.
I agree. There's three areas. There's thinking, and then there's talking, and then there's writing. And each one makes you better. Writing, you really do edit.
Yeah.
Talking is better than just what's just going on in your mind. That's where people get
Other people edit when you're talking. Edit you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you don't. Obviously, lots of people say lots of stupid things, but at least you have some mechanism. But what goes on in your mind, I mean, this is the problem with people say, God talked to me. He didn't. You talked to him. He didn't answer. Those are called thoughts. Anyway, thank you, CNN. Great to be back. Thank you, panel. We'll see you next week.